Alright guys, what's going on? Alpha deck of the day. This deck is fucking ridiculous, guys. It blows my mind. By the way, this is the first video. I'm not gonna go through the introduction. Many of y'all know me already. So anyway, let's get straight to the deck. I mean, this deck is ridiculous, guys. I've been playing Yu-Gi-Oh for over. I started back in 2001, I believe, 2001, 2002. So it's been over almost 15 years, guys. 14, 15 years. My math is all fucked up. But anyway, so and I've seen the game change and evolve. I mean, I used to play back in the days when Donza Luke was that one, Exiled Force was that one, Genzo was the game winner, things like that. And I saw all the formats, Teledad, fucking Magical Scientist, First Turn Kill, you name it. And there's a lot of cheap decks out there, like Lights On and shit like that. But this deck is by far number one. And these are the five things that a deck must have to be competitive in this format, right? Five things it must have, and I put it down here for y'all. Let me show y'all real quick. See, number one, it must have an answer for your opponent's monsters, right? I just put in like I didn't make it all official. I just typed it up real quick. That's the five things that I look at before I make any deck. I normally memorize it, but I just put it down for you. Number one, you must have an answer for your opponent's monsters. You know, it doesn't matter how good your deck is. If you go against a faster deck or more aggressive deck, you have no answer for that bullshit cards like Fossil Diner, JD, Vanity Fiend, what you call it. If you don't have an answer for that, your deck is useless. Number two, you must have second play opportunities. That's one of the most important things. Second play opportunities mainly mean if your opponent silent warnings you or bottomless trap holds you, you must have a comeback that same turn. You know, like not necessarily to negate it, but let me give you an example. You summon, they play torrential. Mizuki goes in the grave. You remove Mizuki to bring out another monster. That's what I mean by second play opportunity. You must have a way to come back because people will have effect veiler or bottomless trap or some type of bullshit to fuck up your play, and you can't always rely on MST. You might not always draw it. Number three, you must have control of the field or cause your opponent to take it. What I'm trying to say is once you summon your monsters or whatever, or your cards, you must have some way of maintaining control of that field. You don't want to play shit, attack your opponent for 2,000, end your turn, and he just blows up your shit and then attacks you again. You don't want that back and forth ping pong shit. You want to drop your monster, take control of the field, and maintain it. Or if you have to give up control of the field, your opponent has to lose at least 2 to 3 cards to do so, right? So you want him to pay for that shit. Number four, you gotta understand the top three are the most important. Number four, number five, they're kind of optional. Number four, you gotta understand that cards that prevent your opponent are better than cards that negate, right? So cards that say your opponent cannot, for instance, are a lot better than cards that say negate or destroy, whatever. It's better to say when you play something like Kaiser Coliseum, your opponent is fucked, right? He just can't do shit. It's better to prevent him from doing shit like Royal Decree, things like that. And number five, you must have an early God hand. That's simple, right? If your deck makes it so that you have consistently good opening hands, you're good to go. Because let's face it, in this format, it's like poker, man. Your opening hand is everything. You open up bad, I don't care how good your strategy is, how good your deck is, you're gonna lose. So anyway, let's look at this deck real quick. Light and Darkness Dragon, three Light and Darkness Dragon. Shadows are fucking broken, right? That was my rant earlier. They're fucking ridiculous. Plus is insane. But anyway, um, three Light and Darkness Dragons, right? And you guys know, like I remember back in the days. Once again, I'm an OG. When Light and Darkness Dragon was winning every single Shonen Jump, every tournament, Light and Darkness was winning. And now he kind of got put on the back burner because they're like, oh, he's easy to get rid of. That's my whole point, right? He's easy to get rid of, but your opponent has to sacrifice at least 2 cards, and the -2 is awesome in this format, especially if you go first turn and you find a way to summon him in the first or second turn. Awesome, because now your opponent will get rid of him. That's the point, right? I'm not when I summon Light and Darkness Dragon, I'm not trying to keep him on the field the whole time. I want you to get rid of him at the cost of your fucking hand, right? It's all about hand advantage, guys. Once you get rid of him, and I'm gonna show you some sick combos with him later on. Three Light and Darkness Dragons, two Shadow Beasts, right? If you get Lad first turn or second turn, you pretty much got to do it. Two Shadow Beasts, and I'm gonna explain why I'm playing two, even though it's a tribute. Great effect makes you draw two, discard one. If it's sent to the graveyard, you draw a card. A lot of sick combos with him. Just the fact that you could just draw two, already makes puts him in there. And why would I put a tribute in this deck? You see why in a second. Three artifacts, and I explain to you why these guys are amazing in this decks. Three artifact morale tech, one shadow dragon, one shadow lizard, Shadow Dragon, you guys know what it does. I only play about one of the other ones except for Falcon. Yeah, his flip effect, I really don't care about it. He returns one card to my opponent's hand. I almost never use that effect. I mainly use him to pop back row, right? Pop with that crucial bottomless, that crucial warning when I send him to the graveyard. One lizard, once again, I really don't use his flip effect. I use mainly his other effect, which is to send a shadow card to the graveyard and get that effect started. So you can send him to the graveyard and send him to pop a back row, or him and draw a card, or you see the other one soon. One, Felice Lightstone Archer. She's amazing in this deck, not just because she's a light for Shadow Fusion, but also because her effect works with Mathematician. You could just summon him, drop her in the grave, special summon him, and synchro for Black Rose, right? That's the first turn. Black Rose blow up the field. If they have an answer for that, which I'm hoping they do, then you have comeback opportunities. You know, they waste up back row so that you can actually summon your bigger monsters like these guys. And plus, Mathematician, I mean, broken. Not only he dumps the monster on the grave, he could dump any of these guys, any of the shadows to get the effect. But you can also get a plus if you destroy by battle. Plus, he has a decent attack, you know, to attack. People hate attacking him, so usually he just stays on the field. I love it. But yeah, he's the first on Black Rose, and if you're not using her for Black Rose and for Mathematician, you could use a light. You could just synchro her. Next up, you have you could also use her effect when you using Shadow Fusion and you send her from your deck to the graveyard. Plus, she's a tuner. I mean, she's stacked in this deck. You only need one copy of her. Next, you have Shadow Hedgehog. I play two of him because he's the search guy. He adds this guy to your hand. Shadow Fusion to your hand, and if he's sent to the graveyard, then obviously you get his effect. You can add a Shadow monster of your choice, which I usually go for Shadow Beast, and I'll show you why Shadow Beast is so crucial in this deck. Next is three card D, very awesome in this deck. He's pretty much a pot of greed, right? If your opponent stops his summon, like warning or breakthrough skill, whatever, good. Then that means they wasted it on him. You have the chance to bring out your other guys later on. If they don't, then you get, you get a +1. Lose one, get two. That's a +1. If you get him early in the duel, especially in this format where people start off with 5 cards, you get a great advantage. And let's see, you can summon him, set your back row, set your artifacts, set your skill, and then draw two. Awesome. And once again, this deck really wants your opponent to go all out and burn their hands. You can come back and smack him in the face. Next, you have Shadow Falcon, really, really, really good card. I run two of him. I might run three, but it might clog up the hand a little bit. His effect is, I actually use his flip effect, because his flip effect is insane. He special summons any shadow from your graveyard face down, including the fusions. He brings out a fusion as well. But I usually bring this guy out, flip, draw two, you can synchro for 7, Black Rose the field, uh, turn after that, but I rarely do that. So two of him, and also when he sent to the graveyard, he special summons himself. Great card. Next up, I have Shadow Fusion, 3 Shadow Fusions. Obviously, I'm not going to go into details. You guys know what it does. And the cool thing is you can fuse from your deck. That's the best thing about this thing is you don't have to actually lose cards from your hand. Nowadays, everybody XYZs or whatever, so you could actually use that to fuse from your deck. Next, you have 3 Soul Exchanges. Those cards are boss in this deck. I use those to bring out Light and Darkness Dragon. There's nothing worse than your opponent losing one of their boss monsters for you to drop this shit right here. Or I use it for Shadow Beast. In fact, that's my favorite combo. They summon that big ass monster, whatever it is. They set the back row and a turn. I go Soul Exchange, set him face down. So there's no bottomless, no warning, no nothing. They're not stopping my summon. It's a set. Tribute set. Next turn they attack it. I draw 2, discard 1, get my effect off. They don't attack it, I get it in my turn. If they destroy it somehow with Dark Hole, I get a card anyway. So Soul Exchange in this guy is insane. Foolish Burial, you could drop her, she special, no, not her, she doesn't work for Foolish Burial. You could drop any of the shadows, get the effects off. This card right here rapes 3 Super Polys, guys. Super Poly, your opponent has a lot in Darkness Dragon. You can use that. Your opponent has the fucking Shadow. I love playing this against Shadow because a lot of people are playing Shadows now. So you play this against Shadows, you just discard a card from your hand, fuse all 2 of their monsters. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't even have to discard anything from your hand. You don't have to use any of your monsters. You can use any of the monsters, and even if they don't, somebody's gonna have a light monster if you're going against Light Zone, and somebody's gonna have a dark monster. And the cool thing about this is they can't chain to it. I love this. They can't chain to this. Sometimes I even play this to fuck up those burn decks that go gift card, and try to play bad reactions to Smochi. I let them play the first gift card and the second gift card, then I chain this shit, and I fuse for whatever fucking reason. And next thing you know, they can't chain to that, so I gain 6,000 life points. They hate that shit. You can use it against Chain Burn. You pretty much can play this on anything. And you can use this to fuse your own Light and Darkness Dragon if he's on the field and he's about to die. because even he can't negate it. Nothing negates that. This card right here is Jesus, and you can play. Sorry, I fucking got cut off and shit. But yeah, you can use this once again to fuse your opponent's own shadows. I love doing this. They have this guy on the field, Nephilim, or they have Midrash on the field. I just go Super Poly, discard a card from my hand, right? Whatever I don't need, and fuse all this shit, right? I lose two, they lose two, but then I gain this thing or this thing. It's awesome. I love doing it. Or I was doing it against Cyber Dragons. They had the crazy Cyber Dragons on the field. You know, that stupid synchro. Play this. I mean, you can play this on almost every. Think about it. All the top decks in this format are usually light or darks. So this thing's gonna work regardless. Plus, you have enough lives to use it on. If your opponent doesn't have monsters, shit, you can use it on her, him, or that. Next up, the Monarch Stormforth. This card is broken, and I guarantee you it's gonna get hit. It's gonna get hit, man. It doesn't target, right? You contribute set monsters. You contribute face-up monsters. You contribute anything, guys. Anything. Well, I think not tokens for a tribute summon. So I use this for a tribute set. You can use it for a tribute set as well. I could play this and then that. I could use this for Light and Darkness Dragon. Or I could use this shit for my artifacts. If I have a bad hand, you can use this for anything, guys. Get rid of your opponent's annoying monsters, no matter how how annoying it is. Just get rid of it. And you play, they can't do anything. Once again, if you the best way is to tribute and set the monster. This way they can't bottomless or warning. But once again, this card is never dead in your hand. And also, I forgot to tell you guys, when Light and Darkness Dragon dies, you could also special summon, not only can special summon any of these guys, you special summon the artifacts and they still get their effect, meaning they get to the field and they pop a card on your opponent's field. I love doing that. Like I drain their hand, summon a Light and Darkness Dragon, I drain their hand again, they finally get rid of it, and then out comes this guy and pops one more card on the field. That's the reason why this deck doesn't need MST so much, because it gets rid of so much crap, man. Then you have the Theosphere Artifacts, another broken card in this format. They play MST, you chain it, you get your artifact monster, you pop a card on the field. This goes to the graveyard because the MST, it gets destroyed, and you pop another card on the field. So I love playing this because people love MST in my back row. So one thing you want to do in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is you want to expect what your opponent's gonna do, and you want to prepare for it. You don't want to just stop them from doing it. You want them to do it and hurt themselves doing it. So this thing's awesome. If they don't play MSC, fine. I could just chain it, bring out this, doing a standby phase, main phase, whatever fucking phase, destroy anything. I love it. Next, you have two breakthrough skills, one of the most broken cards also in this format. Not only, I like playing cards that have more than one use, right? You want to play cards that have more than one use. Not only I'm going to stop my monster's effect on their turn, but also again, once it's in my graveyard, I can also negate this stuff on my turn, and it's such a high speed that you could use this during a battle phase on your turn, on your main phase. I mean, it's crazy. It has two uses. I mean, why not play Breakthrough Skill? I was debating whether to play that and Finish Chain, but this by far beats Finish Chain. Finish Chain, yeah, they can't attack, but they could also chain MST and shit like that. And if they get rid of Finish Chain, it's useless. They get rid of Breakthrough Skill, it has a second life in the graveyard. Awesome card, like almost like Necro Gardener. I love cards that have more than one use. Then Warning wins games. Obviously, I'm never gonna go over this. Next, the extra deck. Three Nephilims. You guys know her effects. Really simple. You summon her. You could fuse her from the deck. I mean, using material from the deck, using Super Poly. She hits the field. She sends one more shaddoll from the graveyard to the from your deck to the graveyard. They get their effects off. She gets her effect off. She leaves the field. You get to add one shaddoll back to your hand. I mean, it's sick. This guy can be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. Um, and he's also a very, very important lockdown card because your opponent can only special summon once. So if they go, I don't know, Foolish Burial, Dandelion, boom, that's it. They gotta end their turn after that. If they go Soul Charge, they summon their monster, they gotta end their turn. They go Rekindling, they summon their monster, they can't synchro. They go, Kage Toge, all these guys that like to XYZ multiple times per turn, they can't do any of that. You going against Lights On. If they drop, they use the Dragon Rulers to come to the field. They can't drop JD. I mean, it lacks down a lot of guys. And once again, you can play Super Poly, fuse a shadow, and one of your opponent's dogs to get him out. Star Eater, once again, he's easy to bring out because he's 11 stars and he's a tank, 3200 attack. Plus, he's a light once he's on the field. And when Light and Darkness Dragon dies, you can bring him back out. Pretty good card. Leo for your 2-star tuner and your Nephilim or your Light and Darkness Dragon if you absolutely have to. Leo comes in late in the game, stops him. Dead cold. Two Black Rose Dragons, because once again, your combo with this clears the field. You can also synchro your 5 star and your 2 star. Really helpful to just, waste your opponent's warnings and bottomless and finish chains and breakthrough skills and failures, all that crap. Felgran, just in case I have him on the field and her on the field, somehow I could go for Felgran. Felgran wins games, let's be honest, guys. Awesome card. You guys know what it does. You can negate a monster's effect. So that's already an effect right there. He's a walking breakthrough skill on any player's turn, and he can also use it to put the monster whose effect he negates is unaffected by other cards. So you could also use it on himself to protect him from something else. So he has 2 effects. Awesome. Plus he has a high attack, easy to bring out. Uh, Bouncer, I put him in there. I'm gonna take him out, because I had a different build earlier. I'm actually gonna remove him for something else, but you rarely get Bouncer out. Adris, Keeper of Armageddon, for just in case you got an XYZ, those guys here, your 5 stars, and he's also 5 star here. He pops any Facebook card on the field. Awesome. Constellar Pleiades, once again for these guys because they're lights. It's actually pretty easy to bring them out, right? You could play Artifact, bring this out. If you have a bad hand, you could go Soul Exchange, drop this, or this and that, or Light and Darkness, bring this out. Boom. Lock down the field. Volcasaurus for game, 5 stars once again. And cast out the Avian Sky Blaster to return the face of card back to your opponent's deck. You can return annoying monsters that can't be destroyed, like BLs and things like that. Also, I forgot her effect. You guys know when she attacks a special summon monsters, it's automatically destroyed and it does not target. Awesome deck, guys. Try it out. It's amazing. I get some sick opening hands with this. Once again, it's all about opening hands. My side deck, I put Plasma in there because this is one of my traditions. I love Plasma. My favorite card in the whole Yu-Gi-Oh game. I love Plasma. So I put him in every side deck just for the fun of it. And I try to make every deck around Plasma. Plasma was in there, but I put him in the side deck because I really don't need him first in the first duel. 3 maxis for I don't know if you're going in a matchup against a deck that special summons a lot. Why not 3 maxis? Keep drawing out your ass. 3 veilers for cards that stop OTKs and things like that. 3 soul charges. Once again, you can bring all these guys out. Synchro, bring these guys out. I mean 6 soul charge is so sick in this deck. I just don't have room for it, yet, as of yet, because it's working so well. You don't even need a side deck. 3 royal decrees for these stupid decks that play like a million traps. And that's it, guys. Comment below, let me know what you think. Look at my random opening hand. Look at this, right? Look at this. Random opening hand. I hit shuffle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Say I go first. Summon this. Set this. Use the fact. Draw 2 and turn. Next turn, so play that. Pop. You know what I'm saying? Another opening hand. Look at that. Summon this. Drop her. Black Rose the field. Or if you go first, summon. Drop a shaddoll. Or just set warning. Summon this. Draw 2. That's what I would recommend. Look at that. Every opening hand with this is sick, right? You could play this. Right, to special summon from your deck if your opponent has an extra monster on the field. Then you can play that, drop Light and Darkness Dragon, Super Poly. I mean, just try it out, guys. You love this deck. Let me know what you think. It's alpha as fuck. I'm gonna show you some duels in a minute. I'm out.